everybody, Audiohead here. Today we have the sonic impressions of the new Oppo PM-1. This headphone, I already kind of revisited the packaging and some of the other characteristics of it in another video, which you can find. I'll flash it up, the link to the video up on the screen here. So you can go ahead and check that video out if you're interested in more of the fine-tunings for what comes with it and that kind of thing. The focus of this video, however, is going to be what does this bad boy sound like. So we have a new planar magnetic from Oppo, a company traditionally known for really good Blu-ray players that are, for the audiophile dollar, a lot of bang for the buck. The headphone, in this case, really kind of follows a similar suit. Very, very nice pricing on this at $1,099. Now, I know a lot of guys, for a lot of people, that is a lot of money. But when you're looking to buy some of the, best stuff out there, and that's what these guys are really shooting for. They want the best possible sound. Those are the range that the headphones start to get into. But within that range, planar magnetics, there are a couple of offerings from Hi-Fi Man, Audaz's, Fostex T50RP utilizes that technology a little bit on the lower end in a closed back form. Additionally, Mr. Speaker's Mad Dogs uses them in a mod form. However, in the upper range, this lands in a pretty good spot at $1,200. I think that it's not, it performs very, very well for its price. So I know I say that a lot, but in this case, the $1,200, means that expectations are much higher. You're looking for something where the response has to be very linear, very true to sound, and still be really fun. And I think that's where this headphone actually does a very good job at. It's quite fun, specifically in between the bass and the mid. So rising up from the bass into the mids, there's a nice tone, a nice texture that's really fun and really easy to listen to. Some people have used the word warm to describe that. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say as it's warm. I find it to be very, very fun, energetic, nice, well-executed bass to mid presentation. As you move up into the vocals, the treble, the vocals are in a very nice spot. Sometimes vocals, when that frequency gets boosted, they push too far forward in the mix. Other times they feel recessed back, so you can't hear them as much. They're right where they should be, right where you would expect for anything a grand or up in the headphone area. Good sound, good linear sound, good vocal presentation, vocal accuracy. Moving up right to where above the vocals are, in between the vocals and the treble, there's a nice sense of air. There's a nice sense of breathing room, cymbal crashes, things of that nature. Vocals seem to have a kind of sense of space above and around them. It's more like in a room where they can breathe rather than I'm hearing this like burp, 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 right into my ear. So there's a good sense of space around the vocals. Moving up to the treble. The treble is not as forward as perhaps some of the other flagship audiophile headphones, particularly the HD 800 I think has a little more treble than this headphone, but still a very nice presentation overall. Like you put this thing on, you're like, well, they got it for a planar magnetic. Not something that everyone hits right away. This is Oppo's first run right out of the gate, their first headphone, and it's a pretty amazing first entry for the company. Also, one of my favorite things it doesn't necessarily have to do with listening for this headphone is the comfort. For a planar magnetic top-tier flagship headphone, it really, really is comfortable. It's lighter than a lot of the other headphones out there in the same arena, and also the caliper pressure seems just about perfect for my head at least. So the amount of tension that's used to keep it on your head isn't like crushing your melon or too loose that it falls off. In fact, compared to a lot of the other heavier planar magnetics, these headphones stay on your head and feel more like a regular pair of headphones without having like that huge audiophile kind of weight coming down. So big marks for Oppo in that regard. The driver is actually proprietary. They're calling it a 7-layer unique design that's specific to them. So, I think they put the time and energy into R&D to really push out something special the first time around. Excellent that work there. One last thing I'd just like to comment on the sound is the staging, the focused articulation of individual instruments. So the instrument separation combined with where they kind of land in the soundscape is very sharp. It's almost like holographic where it sits outside your head in a very, very good way. It's one of the most interesting yet arbitrary kind of characteristics of listening to headphones is how do we get that sound out of our head and more like we're sitting there listening to a pair of speakers. I think through the treble, the accuracy, and a lot of other factors, these headphones do that very, very well. It's a very nice characteristic to have with the pair of headphones, and I think it achieves that quality very nicely. So, really the highlights of this headphone are a very unique bass to mid presentation that I find very agreeable, and also the great sound staging as instruments go from left to right or are out there in the soundscape. Great job keeping those nice and tight. This is the Oppo PM-1 planar magnetic headphone available now. Thanks everybody for watching and have a good one.